All right. Hi, I'm Daniela Marinacci, and today I'll be talking about the gender wage gap in education. So we'll start with a quote by Maria Shriver that says, "When we pay women less than men, we're telling women their work isn't as valuable. We're all equally valuable, and we should be paid equally." So we'll start with, what is the gender wage gap? The gender wage gap is a measure of what women are paid relative to men. So, on average, currently, for every dollar a man makes, a woman makes 80% of that. Now, this 80% will change through different articles, but on average, it's close, like right now, it's close to 80%. It's different with every job that's researched. So first, you can click the link to the poll that will ask you, is the gender wage gap real? And then you can watch this video from John Green about the the wage gap, where he discusses whether it's real or not. And basically, it just says that the wage gap isn't always crystal clear, but it exists no matter which job you have or your different education levels. No matter like the differences between that, between men and women, there's always a gender, a wage gap between the genders, but it will always be a different number. Oh, so then I'll just go. Okay, so then we'll go to expectations of gender in school. So in high school, in this 1997 research, in high school, males were more likely to take advanced math and science courses, so more STEM related courses that are really booming industries currently, and females are more likely to take foreign language courses. And then in college, in 1968, women made up 8.7% of all business degrees, 0.6% of all engineering degrees, 13.6% of all physical science degrees, and 37.1% of all mathematics degrees. And these are more male dominated fields. And then in 1991, women made up 47.2% of all business degrees, 15.4% of all engineering degrees, 31.5% of all physical science degrees, and 47.2% of all mathematics degrees. Now, you can see that within a few decades, women were more involved in male dominated fields, but still, there wasn't like for a lot of them, like there was less than half of women were involved in these fields. And then with typically female, more feminine majors, in 1968, women made up 75.9% of all education degrees, 77.8% of all health profession degrees, and 97.3% of all home economics degrees. And home economics is basically they were learning how to take care of a household. And then in 1991, the percentages were basically almost identical. There was not as much as an increase as in the male dominated fields, which shows us that more women were going into male dominated fields, but there was still the same amount of women going into more female majors. So then you can watch this video. It's from CNBC about why there's still a gender wage gap. But it basically says that a lot of women, the reason why there's still a gender wage gap is that a lot of women will go into lower paying jobs, even though they're overqualified. And they are also, when they're negotiating pay, they'll go 30% lower than what they actually deserve. And also, women are more likely to lower their hours to take care of kids and relatives and like older relatives. So they miss out on promotions and pay raises. When there's also men who just end up working the same. So, gender tendencies with higher education. Women tend to seek higher levels of education than men in an attempt to reduce the wage gap between themselves and their male peers. So they want to feel overqualified for a job that men are just qualified for, to at least see like at least feel like they're earning what they should, which is kind of like more of a social culture problem. And then also when women are joining the labor market, they have to deal with, or like the attitudes in the workforce is that the attitudes in the workforce right now affect a woman's chance while searching for employment, the evaluation of the work that they do at an existing job, their chances for a promotion, and their chance for a fair salary. So the idea that women don't deserve equal pay to men really affect these ideas that I just listed. And this infographic shows different, the amount of males to females in different paying jobs. So in higher paying occupations, it's more male dominated, but in lower paying occupations, it's more female dominated. And then also usually, which I'm just saying what I just said in the infographic, you can see usually jobs that are more typically feminine have less prestige and lower salaries. And when women enter a male-dominated career, they earn more than other women in other careers, but they still earn less than men that have that same job description. And then in this infographic, it shows the same thing, that the pink shows more female-dominated jobs, and they were all lower like earning jobs, and all of the blue show male-dominated jobs, and they were more higher earning, which shows the inequality. So now it's time for the discussion. So what can be done to get equal pay between genders? So what we want to do is to support and encourage. So we want to support pay transparency. Pay transparency is basically, we encourage people to have open discussions about what they make, so people can understand that there is definitely definitely inequalities between men and women and how much they're paid. And if we talk about it, more people can realize and get involved in changing it. And we also want to support the passing of better medical leave program. So currently, women will leave their job to take care of their children and then miss out on pay raises and promotions. But if we have a better medical leave program, they can spend more time at home taking care of their child and also not miss out on any kind of pay at home and at work while they're home. And we can also encourage the divide household chores at home. So in the John Green video, he mentions that women spend more time doing household chores at home and men spend less. And if there was a divide of household chores at home, men and women would spend equal times doing chores at home, and then they can spend also an equal amount of time at work, and they can make better money. And it's more of like a social cultural problem where women are expected to come work all day, but also come home, take care of the kids, do the laundry, do the cooking. And it's not in every household, but it is just a cultural idea that women are supposed to be do all of that stuff as well as work. And we can also talk to local and state political figures about passing legislation to raise the minimum wage, because women, as you saw in those different infographics, women are in there's more women in lower paying jobs. And if we were to raise the minimum wage, they would be able to have not an easier life, but more survivable a wage that they can survive on, rather than just having to rely on, have two jobs rather than just one. And we can also support different caregiving structures. So right now, childcare is incredibly expensive. So women will lower their hours to spend more time at home taking care of the child, or even so, just not work at all. And if there was better, more affordable childcare, then women could also be more in the workforce without having to choose between work or their child. So now time for the survey. You can click this link after the presentation, and it kind of just asks for your opinions and different stuff that you learned in that survey. And then these are my sources. Thank you.